All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Sunny Days Media Football Show. This is week 4. Is it week 4 or 5?
Week 4.
Week
Week
four.
4.
Week 4. We are in week 4. I'm lost. I can't see anything. Jerry decided to put on glasses, so we all decided.
Jerry
to put
always
on
wears
glasses.
his. Well, not always.
I
but
know,
Jerry,
I know, Jerry. I know
you know,
Jerry usually does. I'm just
part
blaming
of the
you.
look.
I'm just blaming you.
Part
I'm just
of the
blaming
look.
you. I don't want to. I don't
Need
want
someone
to
to blame.
This world
I need
has
someone to
leaders
blame.
and this world has followers. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail.
Sometimes
I'm
you're the nail,
hammer, y'all
sometimes-
the nail.
Sometimes you're walking your dog. Sometimes someone's eating your dog. You know what I mean? You just got to roll with the punches here. All right, we got an odd slate today. I'm a little mad. My Lions are playing tomorrow. Kind of bullshit. I'd like to just be in that 1 o'clock to 4:25 window. We don't have Facino here, although I'm sure he would tell us the Jaguars are probably going to get killed by the Texans. And I think at this point he wants that. He wants a new head coach. He wants the draft position. Not fun in September.
Not looking good for the Jaguars.
A lot of football left, though. There is a
Sure.
lot of football
There's
left
a lot
that
of football left.
it's only week 4. We're not even a quarter way through the season. And I understand that, you look at teams like the Jags and you look at teams like the Bengals and the Titans are definitely out of it. But teams like the Jags and the Bengals have a chance to really turn their season around. They just got to right the ship, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm less worried about the Bengals. I think it's just a combination of a few things. Jamar Chase holding out, that offense getting started off really slow, really didn't help. Also, T. Higgins' injury kind of coupled with that just added to a recipe for disaster. The Jaguars is a different story. Trevor Lawrence has not taken that next step like we've seen Joe Burrow do. And they've made mistakes in the draft, like some really big mistakes.
They're always
Trayvon
playing from
Walker,
behind,
maybe.
though. It's
They
hard
are.
to kill Trevor Lawrence because these guys are always playing from behind, and he's gotta throw 100 times a game to keep them in it.
Yeah, but he also hasn't looked good.
Yeah.
You can kind of see, like, even if a guy's having to go out there and do everything for this team just for them to squeak out a win, they could still look good, and he has not. And the thing is they made mistakes in the draft building this team, and it's stuff that's going to take it's going to take some time to recuperate from. We saw some promise with them. What was it, 2 years ago when they won the division and made the playoffs, and they just kind of it was like one step forward, 2 steps back with them.
And they won a game. They beat the Chargers, I think, in Jacksonville. I think they won the South. They played the Chargers.
I'm pretty sure Trevor Lawrence threw like 3 picks in the first half.
That was
game.
the beginning of the end of what the hell was the Chargers head coach?
Brandon Staley?
Yes.
Brandon
That was the
Staley.
beginning of the end for him. They were up like 34-7 or 20.
Hey, it was a wild game.
Oh, that playoff game you're talking about. I watched that shit in Vegas. That was people were crying in
They're up
the sportsbook
21.
of the Cosmopolitan. It was a sight to see.
I'm pretty sure they're up 21-0 in the first quarter because there was like a 1 or 2 pick sixes. Trevor Lawrence looked awful for the first 15 minutes of that game, and then just somehow turned it around.
Jerry, let's start with your Jets today.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson makes his return to
The Mormon King returns to MetLife.
although I don't think he's going to play.
I agree with our dear friends on part of my take here. I think you're going to see him in some fuck shit. I think that Sean Payton is the level of petty enough to put him out there for I think Sean Payton's going to kind of play it here because you got to think if you think back to how that all went down in Denver with the exit of Hackett and then the bringing in of Peyton. There was a lot of bad blood between the two of them and a lot of strays thrown and all that stuff. And what's it called? I think that on both sides, Saleh maybe not so much because I feel like Saleh doesn't really want to get involved in that. And I think Rodgers is just going to show up and protect his boy's image. But I think that Sean Payton's going to come out and put Wilson out there for I don't know, like a 3rd and short QB sneak or something like that. Maybe throw him out there for the toss just to try to get in their heads. And the people in MetLife are going to eviscerate Zach Wilson. I was at what was supposed to be Zach Wilson's last game as a Jet against the Jaguars on a Thursday night in the rain. And people hated him then. People hated him all last season for the most part. We tried to back him. We really couldn't. And I think tonight, or this afternoon rather, he's going to come out here and he's going to get booed to the high heavens of the Book of Mormon. I don't even know what these people believe in. But, he's not playing. Bo Nix is the guy in Denver that's been apparent for the past 3 weeks. So as far as the game goes, I think the Jets win. I think the Broncos cover. The spread's pretty high. I think it's 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
The over-under is 39.5. And if you are feeling frisky, you want to take Broncos money line, that is plus 300.
Yeah, like I said, I do think the Jets win this game, but 7.5 is a lot of points. You know, I can't sit here and say we look like the best team in the NFL. The teams we beat, we barely squeaked past the Titans, who are a garbage team at the bottom of the barrel. We beat the Patriots pretty handedly. That was big for the franchise, but that doesn't bode well for, like, you know, power rankings, if you will.
Yeah.
And neither will this game. So the fact that I feel like we're letting lower tier teams kind of stay in games a little bit makes me a tad nervous, but I think this game's going to be a little closer than people think. I kind of do like that under. I don't think it's going to be super duper high scoring,
especially the weather.
Yeah, the weather's bad. Denver has a pretty solid defense. Look out for Patrick. Like if I'm the public here, I'm staying away from anything to do with Garrett Wilson, because I think Garrett Wilson's going to get locked down by Patrick Surtain. So
Lamps.
The weather's going to be perfect.
Is it?
Yeah,
66. It's
no.
I was outside. No, I was outside. Looked a little bit crappy out.
It's gloomy, but it's 66 degrees. Very
nice fall day. A nice fall Sunday. You love to see it. But shit, I lost my train of thought. No, I didn't. I know I say this every week, but be on the lookout for Mike Williams to have a game. I really want him to get in the fold here. He had a couple catches against the Pats. He was starting to get in the mix a little bit against the Titans. So I think, third time's a charm. Let's get him in the mix here.
Who'd you say, Garrett Wilson?
The Garrett Wilson's going to be locked down. Mike Williams, I think, is going to have a decent game. But also at the same time, you got the Lazard-Rodgers connection there that I feel like if Garrett Wilson's going to be locked down, he's going to be looking to his buddy Lazard a decent amount. And then, I just hope the Jets defense comes out and balls. We'll see what happens. I know we're starting the rookie offensive tackle because Moses is down.
Olu Fashanu. And you're not missing a beat there. Olu Fashanu.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. So I'm excited to see what he's able to do. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't want to see him necessarily take Moses' spot. I think Moses is a solid piece on the line. If we can figure out somehow to move him over or something like that, I think
you got to remember, Jerry, is I don't know anything about Moses, but I know that Tyron Smith is injury prone. Okay, since probably all three of us were in high school, Tyron Smith has not played a full season. The guy's got he's notorious for back injuries. He's had some
everything.
stuff.
That's the guy from the Cowboys or the guy from the Ravens?
Yeah,
that's the guy from the Cowboys. Right?
Yeah.
So, Fashanu is going to get plenty of playing time this year.
Yeah.
And there's an argument to be had that he might be better than what you've got starting. I think he's that good.
No, that's awesome. I'd love to see that. That's why you draft an offensive lineman in the first round. I'm all about that. We needed to build that. We're going to build that, and it starts with him. But yeah, for Moses' case, it doesn't seem as bad as it looked. It seems like it's only MCL sprain, not a tear or anything like that. So he should only be down for 3 to 5. But hopefully he gets the rest he needs and stays strong on the front lines.
Shout out to Larry Chiafalo and Will Hickey having a wonderful conversation. Larry asked Will how the family is. He just still love to see stuff like that. I'm with you, Jerry. I think the Jets win today, but Sean Payton's sneaky. He's petty. He's definitely a scumbag, but when he is on your team, he's your scumbag. I love Sean Payton. I think you hit the nail on the head. This is 100% a revenge game.
100%.
He has
both sides.
He has sold that to the locker room, and once again, don't think that the Jets haven't done the same thing, because Rodgers is a petty motherfucker too.
And he didn't get his chance last year. We beat them last year. Hackett had his flowers last year, but now it's Rodgers' turn to really, dial it up. So,
and I think this is a different Broncos team this year. I think they're going to surprise some people.
They're what, 1-2?
They're 1-2.
Yeah.
But who did they beat last week?
The Bucs.
Oh, they beat the Bucs. They beat the brakes.
They beat the shit out of the Bucs. Yeah.
So look out for them. I mean, I think the Jets can win. I don't like a 7.5 point spread.
Neither do
all.
I. Not at all.
Doesn't mean I don't think they'll cover it, but or doesn't mean I don't think they have the opportunity or the ability to cover it. They absolutely do. But if
a
you're
lot of
looking for
points.
a sneaky
Yeah.
game, if you have some money to play with, I would throw a little bit on the Broncos money line, and I would do that on its own. I would separate that from your parlays. I would not include that in anything. But I like the plus 300.
No.
I like that a lot. So I think it's a bad spread, and I think you got to play into bad spreads.
I agree. I think it's a bad spread, but I think betting that money line to me is just burning money. I think this is a game where you see Brees Hall and Braylon Allen just take over. The Broncos do not have a good rush defense, and their secondary is strong. You're going to see them go to Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, just kind of hammer the ball there, and then work the middle of the field with Tyler Conklin and Allen Lazard. Hopefully, leaving some room for Mike Williams to get open downfield and make a big play. For
Is
him,
kinda crazy how
is
that
it
worked
burning
out.
money? Is it
Yeah.
burning money?
I think so
who's got
because
the
I
better-
think
Who's got the better coaching staff on the sideline? Be honest.
the Broncos, but that's where it ends. That's all they got. That's better than the Jets. So
They've got a very competitive defense.
they do, but I still like the
Their
Jets
offense
defense
doesn't
better.
compare. Their
Their
offense
offense doesn't compare at all. And Bo Nix is also someone who hasn't thrown a passing touchdown this year. He's 4 picks to 0 passing touchdowns. So this is a game where I could see the Jets getting up early, getting up pretty big by half, and then just kind of hitting the brakes and trying to take over possession. And maybe the Broncos, get some garbage time yards and some touchdowns there to cover the spread, maybe hit the over. But I think this is a game where the Jets kind of lock them down and get up big early and just kind of coast the rest of the game.
So how would you feel comfortable taking this game? Would you buy the Jets down to what, 6.5, 5.5?
Probably to 2.5, 3.5. I don't like this game because I think this is a game where, like I said, the Jets can get up early and just kind of coast, and the Broncos can backdoor their way into covering the spread.
Okay.
This is a game I would stay away from, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not touching it.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one. I think the Jets are going to own possession time. I think Brees Hall is going to have a big, big game. I mean, the Broncos let Bucky Irving have a big game against them last week. They let Rachaad White catch a ton of balls out of the backfield. I think you're going to see the same from Brees Hall this week.
I think if you buy this down, unless you're teasing it and you're going to make up your own teaser, I think if you're just setting up a parlay, you want to buy this down. I'd buy him down to either
Down
6.5,
4 or 5 points.
either 6.5, or I'd buy him down to 2.5. I don't like 4.5 and 5.5 because at that point, pick one. They're either winning by a field goal or they're winning by a touchdown. I can't stand the 4.5, 5.5 spreads. Another game I'm looking at. Are we good to move on?
Yeah.
Another game I'm looking at. I think I'm going to have TV 1 on this game in the 1 o'clock window. That's Rams at Bears. The Rams,
Bears,
for
baby.
multiple reasons. I want to see Caleb Williams. I've been watching every one of his games so far this year. And so far, I feel right about him, even though it is year 1. The Rams just beat the 49ers. I know the 49ers had some guys out, but the Rams are missing basically their entire offense.
That was
Matthew
a big win
Stafford
for the Rams, though. Like you said, I
Matthew
know
Stafford
the 49ers.
is
Sorry, go ahead.
putting the Rams organization on his fucking back. To do what he did last week was incredible. Does it surprise me? No, because I watched him do it for a decade in Detroit. I could see the Rams winning this game. They're giving the Bears a -3. Yeah, the Bears are at -3. The over-under is a 40.5. I don't like the over-under. I think the Bears don't score enough to take an over. But you're taking over here?
Yep.
Okay. Why are you taking the over?
Rams have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I think the Bears are going to carry over a great second half performance by Caleb Williams in that offense. And the Rams have put up points in every game, except the Cardinals game. So I think this is going to be a game where you just see a ton of points scored and just it's taken over by both quarterbacks here. I think the Bears defense has been solid through the first 3 weeks, but Matthew Stafford is Matthew Stafford. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and I think he's going to be able to find his way to put up points and keep them close this game.
He's only thrown 2 touchdowns, but he hasn't thrown a pick since week 1 against the Lions. So I think he'll probably throw a pick today. It wouldn't shock me if he throws another 2 touchdowns, but I think he throws a pick today. I think that Bears defense is good.
Bears defense is good.
It's not sneaky good. It's just good. It's a good defense. It is a great pass rush. The thing I'll say about the secondary it's looked really good against some of these bad quarterbacks. Last week against who they play last week? The Texans last week, right?
Yes.
The Texans kind of.
Wait.
Oh no, they played the Colts. I'm
No,
sorry.
the Colts. Yeah, they
The
played
Colts.
the
I'm sorry,
Texans,
was
the
2
week
weeks
before.
ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been holding teams. The highest anyone scored on them is 21 points, which is not bad. Although this year offense is just down big time, so I don't know exactly how good that is. But I think I wouldn't feel great taking the Rams just because they're missing so many guys. But I think Caleb Williams looking as bad as he does is going to keep the Rams in this game. I firmly believe that. I mean, Caleb looks like a deer in headlights right now. The city of Chicago is definitely not out on him at all. But I would say if the defense did not look as good as it did, people would start to worry. And as for the Bears' run game, there is no run game.
No
DeAndre
run game.
Swift fucking sucks. The guy
No,
can't
be on
hit
the
a
lookout
hole.
for Rashad Jennings, though. I think he's edging
You
his
think
way
he takes
into-
over today?
Yeah, I do. I think I believe he's starting today as their RB1. And then I think if
Really?
he comes out balling it, he's going to really take it over. I hope so, at least, because I picked him up in a couple fantasy leagues, and
There you
that
go.
seems to be the case. Just like, sleeper wise, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it was a bad week last week for DeAndre Swift to really not get it going. The Colts have a really bad rush defense. Like they're
the worst in the
30.
league.
Yeah, they're worst in the league, and so for him not to get going really speaks volumes. But I know you said Caleb Williams looks like a deer in headlights. He did until the second half of last week. He looked good in the second half, and he showed you why he was picked number 1 overall. And I think if he can start getting out of the pocket and maybe getting that extra second to let routes develop and get guys open downfield, you're going to see why he was picked number 1 overall. He's got arm talent. He can move the ball around the field pretty much at will when he's got that time. So going up against a bad defense, like a bad Rams defense, I could see that offensive line just looking a little bit better and him getting that time to throw the ball.
Well, if there's a week to show it, this is the week. The Rams have nobody on defense. You're in your own
Secondary's
stadium.
Completely banged up.
You've got your home crowd on your side, right? That Rams fans are just non-existent.
Yeah.
So, unless you're playing this game in St. Louis, because they don't even have a home field advantage in LA. So, if there's a week for Caleb Williams to show the world that he is ready for the NFL, it's this week. Because I can tell you this, the defenses he's going to face are not much worse than this. He's going to play the Jaguars in 2 weeks. That's pretty bad. He's going to play the Panthers next week, although the Panthers looked a heck of a lot better. We'll get into that, too.
Their defense ain't good.
Their defense isn't good, but the Panthers looked a heck of a lot better last week.
What works for Caleb for this week, what works for Caleb is I think he needs to come out slinging. And I think we saw it last week. Now that the monkey's off his back, him and Rome both had their first. Oh, he had his first passing touchdown. So did Rome Odunze. And I think now that monkey's off his back, he didn't only even have one. He had 2 last week. So now that he's like, okay, I can whatever. And the Rams defense, as it is, I just read a stat. They give up 100 yards. They've given up 100 yards receiving to multiple receivers on the year so far. So I think if he comes out slinging the ball. And he has, again, I've been high on this wide receiver room since I've watched Hard Knocks. You have DJ Moore, you have Keenan Allen, and you have Rome Odunze. You have 3 very solid options who are all more than capable. Maybe not so much Rome just because we haven't seen it, but I trust his skill set, and I know he can do it. But you're able. These guys are more than capable of reaching 100 yards, if not multiple of them going over 100 for the game. So if he comes out and he slings the rock and he's able to really dial it in and find the touch, because I think that's another problem. Because it's not that he hasn't been throwing. I feel like there's been a lot of overthrows, a lot of underthrows, handful of missed drop passes, which isn't his fault. They're in his hands. You can only be as responsible as you can for that. But still, I think if he finds his touch and hones in on slinging the ball around, I think this could be considered the official Caleb Williams coming out party. We saw it a little bit last week, but if he comes out and beats the Rams, I think that's kind of going to go a long way.
Yeah. Like you said, I think it's a lot of these receivers can go off this week, and especially DJ Moore. The Rams, like we said, have one of the worst defenses in the NFL, one of the worst secondaries too. And DJ Moore's gotten the 4th most targets this year in the NFL. So I think this is a game where they're going to target him, and DJ Moore is going to have one of his classic 2-touchdown big games. 100+ yards. I
Twist
see
my
it's written
arm.
on
He
the
might have
wall.
just found himself in my parlay. That sounds okay to me.
Oh yeah, I have a big parlay with him involved. So
The DJ Moore body language last week did not look good.
Yeah.
Did not look good.
you see that from all alphas,
No,
It happened
Not
to
really.
Jamar Chase. He looked like shit. Then went off against the Commanders. CeeDee Lamb looked like had a sourpuss going on, and then he went off against the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, you're
Fair point.
selling me here, dude. I'm telling you that much. But
If
I
there's
agree
any
with
receiver,
that.
if there's any player you want to get pissed, it's your alpha wide receiver. It's because they're not getting the ball. That's the one player you're fine with it, because when they get the ball, things happen. You saw it happen to the last 2 games, honestly, the Thursday night and the Monday night game. So why not again?
So you're heavy on the Bears here, then?
I like the Bears money line. I like the over.
Are the Bears -3? Who's -3 in this
Bears
game?
are -3.
Bears.
Bears are -3. Lock in the Bears. Numbers, baby. Numbers don't lie.
And it might as well be even, because you get 3 points when you're at home, something like that.
No, I think it's usually 2.
2, okay. So
No, it's not even. No.
Well, no, I know, but
They're
you
-3,
get
so it's
but
it's
you
really
get
like -5. Okay. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Yes. I'm confident. I shouldn't say I'm confident. You know what? No, I think Stafford's going to tear it up today. I am confident enough in this game that instead of taking the Rams at +3 or even the money line +135, I think what I would do is I'll take an alternate spread, and
You're
I
a
would
sick
take
fuck.
I'll
You-
take LA Rams -2.5.
You are
I'll
a sick
literally-
fuck.
I'll flip it. Yeah, I do because I think Caleb Williams isn't good. I think he's not good, and I think Stafford's on a tear right now. He's trying to do everything he can to keep the Rams in it while these guys recover. And I think that this is, let me tell you, man, Stafford's played some games in that stadium, given wearing another uniform, but he's had some big games in that stadium.
yes.
But also, if you look at the other way, granted, not so much now, but down the line, because you got to think Cooper and Puka are probably going to be out for at least another 5 weeks, maybe even longer, because it sounds like the injuries are kind of serious. Yeah. We've seen this side of the coin where Stafford comes out, balls out, and then something happens to Stafford because he's playing so hard, It gets heavy when your entire team's literally on your shoulders. So I don't know how long he's going to be able to keep this up, but for now,
two weeks from now, I think we could have that conversation.
Yeah.
Remember this. Stafford in Detroit, what was his best years? Well, his best year, right? Statistically, no. Outside of the 2011 year, when they played with Calvin, but like one of his best years was that first year Calvin retired. And he no longer had 81 to throw to, and he started to spread the ball, and he started to make a lot of guys look a lot better than they actually were. Don't forget, this is the guy that got Kenny Golladay a 4-year contract in New York. Okay, this is the guy.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, well, listen, it's the truth. He made Kenny Golladay look like a fucking star, and I believe Kenny Golladay is flipping burgers right now at Burger King. So
not with that contract.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's probably
no.
He's sitting pretty. He's sitting pretty,
right? He's sitting in a Bentley right now, counting his coins.
And it's fucking robbed the Giants blind.
Another game I like. Are we good to move on?
Yeah, got to move
on. Another game I really like, and I think I'm gonna keep one eye on, is Bengals Panthers.
I love this game.
Panthers won their first game last week.
Number 2.
You know what? Why don't you tell us? I'm going to tell you why I think the Panthers are winning. I think you're on the Bengals side here.
Who, me? I'm on the Panthers.
Oh, you're on the Panthers?
I am on the Bengals side. So
you're on the Bengals side.
I'll be the devil's advocate. So you go first. Okay, you want me to go first? I'll go first.
Go first, Jared.
Do the math here. The Bengals are 0-3 right now. This is probably the slowest start they had.
And game's in Carolina. Not to interrupt. Game's in Carolina.
Yeah. No, but they know they're 0-3, and the media knows they're 0-3, and everybody is letting them hear it. And if you know anything about Joe Burrow doesn't take that sort of stuff lightly. And I think we were just talking about Stafford coming out and slinging the rock. I think, I get it. Dalton, whatever. Dalton's 45 years old. All right. The guy's got to go. He's going to leave. He's going to finish the 1 p.m. game and then make it over to Golden Corral for 4:30 for the early bird special. I think the Bengals know what they have. And like we said off air, the holdouts didn't help their case. T. Higgins going down didn't help their case. The fact of the matter is they still have a number 2 overall in the league wide receiver on that team that has a deep, deep, deep connection with an elite quarterback. And I know, again, AFC North, all that stuff, fuck Burrow, fuck whatever. But you can't deny the fact that when healthy, when firing on all cylinders, Joe Burrow is one scary dude. And I think it's time for him to lock it in, because if he doesn't lock it in, this game literally makes the rest of the season for just like the Ravens game last year last week was it for the Ravens that made their season. This game makes the season for the Cincinnati Bengals. And if they lose this game, it's over. I don't know what they're going to do, but to go 0-4 and to lose one of those games against the Carolina Panthers is just, I don't know what you're going to do from there. But I'm fully confident that the Bengals walk into Carolina and kick the ever-living shit out of the Panthers. They don't stand a chance. I understand that Dalton had a great game. I understand this is Dalton's revenge, if you even want to call it that, since he was a long-time Bengal and all that good stuff. But this is a game where I think that entire locker room knows what is surrounding this game, what it means. It could possibly be a job type game for what's his name, Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor.
Yeah, Zach Taylor, right? Yeah. Good job, Jerry. You remember the name. But like I think you're gonna see Zach Moss come out. I think he's going to pound the rock. I understand you guys are gassing up the Panthers here. There's a lot of holes in that team.
I'm not gassing up the Panthers.
I said it 2 weeks ago, and you two were sitting here telling me the Panthers are going to win. I said, oh, you know what? The Panthers have a good roster. And everybody was quick to say, Jerry, no, they don't. What are you talking about? And I said, oh, okay. I guess I'm wrong, and I'll eat that. So I'm going to hold you to it here. The Panthers suck. And they got lucky last week. The Panthers got lucky last week against a Raiders team who, for whatever reason, I don't know what happened there.
That's good for us, though, Jerry. That Raiders game, the Raiders losing is good for the Jets, and it's good for the Lions.
Oh, yeah, sure. But why?
I think if there's going to be a fire sale there are two.
Oh, yeah. I want to talk about that. Yeah, I want to talk about that when we were talking about the Jets. You're absolutely correct. And now that he's hurt,
Devontae and Jacoby Myers.
Nope, Max Crosby.
A
resident of Michigan that said, I want to be a Raider for life, but if I'm going anywhere, it's the Lions. So give me Max Crosby. I'll honestly, I'll give you the next 2 first-round picks. I don't give a shit. Although you probably won't even have to do that because Max Crosby's making a lot of money. Yeah. So I think you could get away with giving a first and a third.
Contract.
Yeah.
Top three defensive.
Can you imagine that?
Imagine Aiden Hutchinson and Max Crosby coming off the line together.
They'd have 2 of the top 5 defensive ends in the NFL.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That would be
that's something to dream about.
Every bit of that.
But yeah, no, I think with Devontae and his hamstring, I think this is kind of just the writings on the wall to be in MetLife by like week 7. But we said that last week, so we'll see. But anyways, yeah, the Bengals are going to roll into Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte,
they're going to cover 5.5, no problem. They're going to beat this team by I
have the spread at 4.5.
It's at 5.5.
Went down, but still 4.5.
No, it's
still
at 5.
Speaks to me. I saw 5 this morning. 4.5 still speaks to me.
It's at 5.5, and I'm in the
talking shit about Joe Burrow. Yeah, all right, I get it. He has ugly hair. It was his dumb decision. He got into his bag with the fashion stuff. He needs to go back to just being Joe Burrow, not care, and be ice cold, which we know he's more than capable of. And I think that I won't be surprised if he rolls in today looking like just normal Joe Burrow, ready to go.
Shaves the tag.
I think I worry.
Venmo me the $15 will go a better way than put it on the Panthers. I can guarantee you that.
I'll
put my reputation
first here, Zach, or you want to go?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I'll go. To me, this game just screams trap game for the Bengals. I mean, they're going into Carolina.
Is there a trap game if you're?
That's what they want you to think, though, Zach. That's what they want you to think.
Yeah, but that was last week. Last week was everyone was the Bengals. They're 0-2. They can't lose. They're playing the Commanders on Monday night. And sure as shit, Jaden Daniels bowls out on that fucking secondary.
Numbers. I mean, gotta look at the numbers.
Do I think the Bengals? Game. That was the trap game. I think this is the same thing. I mean, look, do I think the Bengals lose if I had to put my money on it? No. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than anyone thinks, and the Panthers are going to cover that 5.5 spread. And the over
4.5.
I have it. I'm looking at FanDuel's right now. It's a 5.5.
FanDuel's got 5.5.
5.5. Yeah.
ESPN bet sucks.
I'd even
I don't know why the
maybe
score has them.
I'd maybe even alternate it and get it up to 7.5. Buy back a couple points. Lose by a touchdown. The over is at 47.5, one of the highest over-unders of the week. Vegas expecting this to be a high-scoring game. You got two awful defenses. And I think it's a matter of who can keep up with who. I mean, Jaden Daniels didn't miss a step against that defense. And, yeah, I don't think Andy Dalton's at Jaden Daniels. But Andy Dalton knows how to play football. He knows how to throw the ball. He's got a good receiver in Deontay Johnson, who has not had a good quarterback throwing the ball in, 4 years since Ben Roethlisberger retired? So I think you're looking at a game where you could see Andy Dalton go big against a bad secondary, and Joe Burrow might do the same. He might, and they might win the game, but the Panthers are going to cover, and this over is going to hit.
No shot. Zero chance. I am more than confident on this 5.5. 5.5 hasn't missed.
There is
I like
an
that
elephant.
number a lot.
There is an elephant in the room. I only have a Lysol bottle here, but there is an elephant in the room that can't pick up the Lysol bottle, as you could see. And that elephant's Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's got a serious problem. I think they're not talking about it because they still owe him a lot of money. I think they're getting multiple opinions on it, but I think there's nerve damage. I think there's an issue with Joe Burrow. This is a guy that was lights out. This is a guy that forget like this is yes right. Took the Bengals to a Super Bowl without a great offensive line. Took LSU to a national championship and won. This is like one of the more recent college quarterbacks that looked great in college and came into the NFL and lit it up.
Translated, yeah.
And I think there's a serious problem. I watched him on Monday. Was it Monday night?
Yes, against the Commanders.
So I watched him on Monday night. Beautiful pass to Jamar Chase. Beautiful. In the breadbasket, touchdown. And that looked fine. But what I also noticed was those routine rollouts where he couldn't hit a receiver. Like, not even close. Not even close. No air under the ball. Too much air under the ball. I think his timing's off because I don't think his delivery is right. I think that there's something wrong with him. I think no one's talking about it, but that Bengals offense looks anemic. It runs through Burrow. There's no great run game to lean on. There's Jamar Chase to throw to, and that's kind of it, right? There's not a lot of playmakers there. I think Zach Taylor. I feel bad for Zach Taylor. I would hate to see him lose his job over this because I think that there is a serious problem with Joe Burrow's arm, and I think it's going to become apparent today. I don't believe the Panthers are good. I don't believe Andy Dalton's good, or he should start. I mean, maybe he should start. Maybe Bryce Young is that bad. I mean, the worst thing
he is.
that ever could have happened to Bryce Young was Andy Dalton coming in and lighting it up, and I'll give you that. But outside of that, I think it's just my thought, and I've seen a lot of Reddit threads on it, and so you take that for whatever it's worth. But I think there is something seriously wrong with Joe Burrow, and they don't want to talk about it, at least not yet. And I think this may be one of the last years Joe Burrow's under center, at least for the Bengals. I think this is it. I think
everyone knows the smartest, the most educated doctors lurk in NFL Reddit threads, and they definitely are well versed in nerve damage. To your point, though, I can't tell
me Joe Burrow looks the same.
You're not wrong.
You can't tell me
you're not wrong.
Everything's okay because it's not. They're 0-3. They had a bad year last year. He got rushed back from injury, got hurt again. I
think that's the biggest problem is that he's just too much of a competitor where he keeps re-injuring himself. He never took the time. He came into last season hurt because he got hurt in training camp, and then he rushed back and then got hurt again. And I think that's just that's a big thing for him. And I've long since did say this though, like his biggest problem was that he's injury prone. Do the math here. He's had one full healthy season, and it was the year they went to the Super Bowl. Rookie season, he tears his ACL. Second season, he goes to the Super Bowl. Third season, he whatever to his cap, then breaks his hand, and now we're here on his fourth season. I think that math cashes out.
I think it's his fifth.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think he got injured.
2019.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
he-
Yeah.
Injured at the end of his rookie season. He missed his whole second year, right? Or most of his second year?
No,
No.
I
His
thought
second
he
year, they
played
went
the
to the
second
Super
year. That's
Bowl.
when they went to the Super Bowl. I'm missing the
Yeah.
year they lost to the. I'm missing the
They
year they
won
lost
the
lost to the
national
Chiefs.
championship.
Oh, the Chiefs. Yeah.
LSU
Yeah.
won the national championship in the 2019
In 2018.
season. I think it was 2018.
They won it in 2019, but it was the 2018
It was
season.
2019. I was still on the island for it.
Okay.
And he got drafted at the end of that year, and that was his rookie year. Yeah. The math's adding up now. We figured it out.
Okay. So his
But yeah.
his third year was 2021.
I'm gonna look up these Reddit threads.
Yeah.
Joe was 20. Will Hickey saying he was the 2020 COVID draft.
That makes no. I think he was a draft before it.
We gotta Google this.
I'm already on it. He was drafted in 2020.
Oh, he's our age.
Yes. Yeah.
Jerry, you're a year older than us, right?
I'm
You're
29.
95.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's 96.
Yeah, he was
December
drafted in
10th,
2020. So this is his fourth year. Wow.
Fifth year. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Fifth
Yeah,
year.
you're right. God,
Um,
we were terrible at math this morning.
we are terrible at math.
Maybe just in general.
Are we able to move on here?
Yeah, let's
You
move on
sure
after
can.
that shit show of a math experiment.
Eagles at Buccaneers is interesting.
A lot
It
of
is,
people
but
high on the Bucks. High on the Bucks. A lot of people.
Eagles are banged up. They're banged up. You got AJ Brown and Devonta Smith out, so you're gonna have to see them do it with their legs. You're gonna have to see Saquon get a ton of work out of the backfield.
Which is
You're gonna
more
see
than
Jalen
possible though against the
more than
Buccaneers.
capable.
More
Yeah,
than
yeah.
possible against the Buccaneers.
Oh yeah, they do not have a good defense. I mean, their secondary in week 1 was already bad, and then I'm pretty sure they lost like 3 guys to injury in week 1. So this is a team where even without AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, you can see Jalen Hurts carve them apart with his arm. But I think you're going to see a lot of runs from Jalen Hurts. You're going to see a lot of designed runs, a lot of improvised runs. You're going to see a lot of work to Saquon Barkley. He's going to be utilized in the receiving game. They're going to give him his touches in the backfield. So I don't know where to go with this game. I am at odds. I think over 41.5 is a little bit low. That's maybe the only place I'd look to go. But other than that, this is just a hard one to read because the Eagles are a good team, but they are banged up right now. And the Buccaneers, I think, were a little bit overhyped after the first 2 weeks, but might be a little bit – things may have came crashing down a little bit too hard after last week's loss. So I really don't know where to go with this game.
I think I would take the Buccaneers. I wouldn't love it, but I'm going to.
It's only 1.5.
It's not a game for me. I would gamble on. If you're in a CBS league where you got to pick spreads, I'm in 2 of those. I'm going to pick the Bucks, but it's not a game that I feel great about. I'm actually writing up some props here on another game. Do you guys have anything else? Keep going on this if you have anything else.
The only thing I have is that it looked like, just because I just watched the Advisors before we went live, and that was one of the games I saw, it looked like the line opened up at Bucks plus 2.5, and I would have loved that. I would have hammered the Bucks money line, but I'm seeing it now dropping down to minus 1.5 for the it dropped down to 1.5 from 2.5. And again, this is the year of numbers for me, and I'm trusting the math here. Like I said, Jerry Bean, baby, flick that bean. That's me. I think that the 1.5 has been winning. The minus 1.5, that is, that has been winning. So if it stays at 1.5 come kickoff, I want to take the Bucks here. I love the Bucks here. A lot of people in one of my handicap group chats are hammering the Bucks, and I want to ride in solidarity, but the numbers are telling me otherwise. So I just don't think I'm going to touch this game. I think the Buccaneers showed mortality last week. I think a lot of people for the first 2 weeks of the season were so high on the Bucks and they were so high on the Saints, not to bring them into this, but they were both knocked down. You know, that NFC, the NFC South division was put on a pedestal, undeservingly so, from, the grounds it was picked up from. And I think last week really brought both of these teams down, showing that they're, human. But that being said, I can definitely see Baker coming out here and just, doing Baker things. I definitely could see Baker having a good game. Like you said, the Eagles have injuries on both sides of the ball here. Their defense is kind of a little bit in shambles. I think they might have a corner or two out. Their pass rush hasn't been all that great.
Yeah.
I know. Again,
is Darius Slay out? Because I know he got injured at the end of the last week.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I do believe.
I know he got blamed. Let's see. Darius Slay. Oh, it's Slayton. Okay.
I believe Slay was out last week.
No, he looks like he's in. I don't see anything.
They're also
missing, yeah, he's in.
They're missing Lane Johnson, which
leaves that was
gigantic hole on the offensive line for them.
I mean, the only thing I really enjoy getting involved with in this game is maybe some touchdown props. I think Saquon Barkley's going to get so much usage in this game that he's gonna score. And then I think Chris Godwin's amazing. And then the Eagles just been bad against really just receivers in general, but especially in the slot. And Chris Godwin's moved into the slot, and I think they're going to target him. I mean, Baker's liked him all season. Obviously, Mike Evans had the big week 1 game, but Chris Godwin's gotten the most targets this year. So I think you look at Chris Godwin, you look at Saquon Barkley, they're going to have 2 big games, and everyone else, I really don't know. It's a tough game to predict because the spread's so close. The over-under is oddly low. Like I said, I don't know if Vegas knows something that we don't, or maybe the injuries are really factoring into that. But I think this game they're going to put up points, but I could be fucking wrong. Yeah, I'm usually wrong.
Can we move on?
No.
I am looking at Steelers at Indy, and I don't think it's going to be super exciting, but
it's going to be a gross game.
It might be a little gross, but
Steelers.
Yeah, I like it. Indy's at -2.5, so you're getting Steelers at positive money.
No. Indy's +2.5. Steelers at -2.5.
Correct. Yeah, Zach has it.
Indy's
I'm looking at the book right now.
It's the glasses. Really? You can't see through the glasses.
Fuck, I'm retarded. Sorry, boys. Okay. I like it a little less now.
Moved.
Yeah, it did.
I like it a little less now. But that's okay. I like betting Fields for a rushing touchdown. You bet him on an anytime touchdown, it's +150 on FanDuel.
Fields and Najee.
You like rushing yards? You could bet Fields 50+ rushing yards at 158. That's not bad. This is a really bad defense, a really bad rushing defense.
Worst rushing defense in the NFL.
And then if you want to bet him on yards in the air, 200+ is +148. So you could throw a really nice fucking parlay together, even not touching the game at all, just touching Fields rushing TD and both his rushing and passing yards. I think that's going to be one of my parlays today. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take him at 200+ passing yards, rushing for over 50 on the ground, and an anytime touchdown of 150. I think this is definitely a game where he could score. He could score on his own, and honestly, to bet on him throwing, what are we getting to see him?
I personally don't love going Fields in the air. I like this.
You don't like 200 passing yards?
I don't know, because Fields sometimes these games where he'll make some big plays with his arms, but he'll take over the game with the rushing. And the Colts rushing defense is so bad, I could see them just leaning on Najee in the second half and just breaking down that defense, and Fields maybe just come shy of that. 2 things I really like: Najee Harris. I think his over rushing yards 60 something, but I altered that down to 50+. He's hit that line in every game, and then the Colts, just like we said, have one of the worst rushing defenses. And George Pickens, 50+ receiving yards. He's the number 1 target there. He's got 25% target share. And this year he has, 2 big catches, one of 40 yards, one of 27 yards. So you could see him get a majority, if not all of that, in one play. So they're gonna be leaning on George Pickens in the passing game when they do throw the ball, and they're gonna be leaning on Najee Harris to carry the rock and just really wear down that defense and just kind of take them home and really run clock all game. I don't see them throwing the ball a ton, but when they do, it's gonna go to George Pickens.
I have nothing on FanDuel. I have some things on Najee Harris, but it's you have to combine it with Justin Fields or Jonathan Taylor.
Well, you got to go into the rushing props.
I am in rushing
What are you
props.
looking for specifically?
I'm looking for Najee Harris touchdowns or rushing yards, and I can't really find it.
It's alt rushing yards right under Justin Fields alt rushing yards. You got to scroll
Yeah.
down a bit. I'm looking at it right now. I like 50 plus because he's
I
hit
don't
that
have
line in
that.
every
I
game.
have
Really?
I have Jonathan Taylor. I have Justin Fields alt rushing yards, and that's it.
Najee Harris for 40 is minus 400. I only have. Oh, here's 50. Najee Harris for 50
Minus
plus yards
235.
Are you
is
on
minus
FanDuel?
235. Yeah, I'm on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Can you send me a screenshot because
No, center right too.
I got nothing here.
That's bizarre. Yeah, it's been weird. I think a lot of injuries have kind of fucked up the books this week.
What is another game? Do we have anything else on this game? I mean, I was just looking at props, so
This
had.
game is a very unexciting one.
Yeah, this is going to be a dirty game.
The game I do love in the early window, I think it's the best game of the slate. Vikings, Pack.
yeah.
Jordan Love is back.
Oh,
The
yes.
Vikings look good. Oh yeah, he's back. He's been ruled back since Thursday, and this is going to be.
Is it official though? I've heard it was still up in the air. Is he playing? Has that been decided? Because listen, I love the Packers this morning, and then I just looked, and the line shifted. It was Packers are -3. I was going to hammer the Packers, and now looking at the books, the Packers are -2.5. So
Tom
is that because
Pelissero 2 hours ago.
Yeah, he's
QB
playing.
Jordan Love is expected to wear his brace on his left knee today against the Vikings. First starts in suffering an MCL sprain in September 8th opener.
Yeah, he's in.
Sources say Love took the majority of practice reps and looked better and better as the week went on. He is going to have a game. Jordan Love, I love Jordan. I wasn't sold on him for a while, and he finally took over last year, and he looked good. And he's just gotten better and better as time went on. They have a good offense, and I think it's just going to add up for an exciting game. You know, it really is.
Would you take the over in this game?
100%. 44.5 is not a lot of points.
Yeah.
I think there's
That's
two
banking
things.
on Jordan Love playing a great game, though.
I see it, and I also see them using Josh Jacobs a lot. They've given Josh Jacobs a lot of usage, and they're going to lean on him to kind of open things up for Jordan Love. You know, he's gonna get his rushes, and he's gonna get his red zone looks when they bring it down there. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has like 10 red zone looks this year and no touchdowns. So it's been a slow start for him, but he's getting his look. So I like the over. I like the Pack, to be honest.
if Jordan Love plays, you might want to look at a Jaden Reed prop. That
Yeah, I have
seems to be his
Jaden
guy.
Reed at I have Jaden Reed at 40 plus receiving yards. His over
like
under on
That's
receiving
a good
yards
play.
is 48.5, and he can get that in one play.
I want to get into this game though a little bit just because. So again, Jerry being numbers guy here. I was looking, and this morning I had even last night. This is why you don't put your bets in until around not quite kickoff, but like noon. You want to see where things once noon comes around, those are pretty going to be set in stone, especially if you're going to play numbers. Last night and this morning, even I would say probably about an hour ago, the line for this game was Packers -3, and -3 this year has been winning outright. They've been kind of covering here and there, but they've been winning. And that's to me, that's a winning number that I say if you're -3, you're going to win that game. Now, like I just said, drop down to -2.5 for the Packers. +2.5 has been winning outright. You could take the dogs, take the plus money, don't take the spread. You don't need the extra points unless you're the Chargers who fucked me last year. That's either here or last week. That's neither here nor there. But now, if you look at this game, this is low-key kind of a great matchup here. Sam Darnold has been playing out of his mind. The Vikings have been playing great football. And now on both sides of the ball, too. Sam Darnold, I think, has the most passing TDs in the league right now. I think he has like 8 or 9. And then, Aaron Jones has been playing pretty decently. So this is also – the game's at Lambeau. This is a homecoming game for Aaron Jones. I think I like Aaron Jones to score today. But I do think this – but Jordan Love – I was always prepped for Malik Willis, and I think Malik Willis has stepped in and done a lot better than people thought he was going to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But now with Jordan Love in here, it kind of, is he going to be game ready? I feel like this is a little bit of a rush back. Is that just me? It's been what, 3 weeks? He went down the Friday of the opening week. So yeah, it's been 3 weeks worth of recovery for something that looked gruesome in the time being like when it happened. So I kind of might want to switch my tune here and go with the Vikings.
My thing is I mean, look, you can say what you will about this, but there's a lot of doctors on Twitter, obviously, that follow these guys' injuries for fantasy advice, betting advice, whatnot. And everyone says that an injury like this really just affects a QB's mobility, and it really has no effect on their passing, their ability to pass the ball. And you're worried about re-injury risk, but with the brace, I'm sure they're gonna put him in positions where he's not going to be getting put in danger's way. And the dude's got an arm. He's got an arm, and they got guys that could really open things up. They have a good running game, and I just like the pack. I like the pack this week. They've kind of gotten boned. They got boned in week 1. I think they should have won that game. I think they look a little bit better than the Eagles, at least for the first 2/3 of that game. And then the last 2 weeks, they came out and they beat the Titans. And then who else did they play? They played last week.
It was a big win last week. I know that.
Yeah. No, they played last week. Shit.
But
They played the Titans last week, and they played the Colts the week before that.
The Colts the week before that.
They played two really bad teams.
Yeah.
And they beat them. But
they looked good with Malik Willis, and now you have Jordan Love back. So I think this game just screams Packers and it screams Sam Darnold coming back down to earth.
These are two quarterbacks I don't like. I think Sam Darnold has played over his head. God bless him, and good for him. Right? Never really had a super fair shake at it. Never had a great coach. So good for Sam Darnold. I think Kevin O'Connell's a hell of a coach. I think he's one of the better coaches in the NFL. And I also think Matt LaFleur is one of the better coaches in the NFL for that matter.
Comes from that Sean McVay tree.
These are two quarterbacks, but as I said, it's two quarterbacks I don't love. I think Jordan Love is severely overrated. He's a guy that at times looks incredible and then has games where he doesn't look like he should be on an NFL field. So I don't really understand that. He throws a lot of boneheaded picks.
He's also only had 1 full year of starting. It's different when you can get away with that when you're only
not really, because it's the NFL, right? And that's like, what have you done for me lately? And
big facts.
That's why I'm trying to say, like, he's a guy that at times looks incredible and at times really doesn't, looks really bad. Yeah. So this is big for both teams. For the Vikings, it's a chance to establish dominance and say we're for real. And I don't really think beating the Packers with Jordan Love coming back, being rushed from injury, let's be honest, that's what this is. You're rushing him back from injury. I don't think it really proves much, but hey, it proves that you're 4-0.
The Packers are a contender, though. The Packers are a good team. There's no two ways about it. They're pretty well put together.
I'm not taking that away from the Packers, but I'm just saying, I think that they definitely are rushing Jordan Love back.
100%.
Of course, the Packers writers are going to say he looked better and better each day. Of course, they're going to say that because that's what team writers do. They hype their guys up. This is a big game for both, and we just talked about the Vikings. In terms of the Packers, it is definitely a game for the Packers to say we're still here. We could lean on this running game and. Let's see what happens. As I said, the Packers are at home for this one. I don't know what the weather is. I can't imagine it's really that cold. It's probably 57 degrees.
While you're looking that up, I want to say something. I think a lot of the love, at least in terms of me and probably a lot of people, the love for Jordan Love comes from how bad the quarterback position has been. I mean, you got your guys at the top. You got your Mahomes, your Allens. I put Stroud in that tier, and I put Lamar in that tier. And then you have just a bunch of other guys that are good. I think Joe Burrow used to be in that tier. He's come down.
He'll be back.
And Jordan Love is in that tier where it's like from, I just put up your top 4, and then you got 5 to maybe 12. You got your Dax, your Jalen Hurts, your Joe Burrows, your Jordan Loves, your Jared Goffs. These guys that are good, but not great. And you have a lot of good, not great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And even your great quarterbacks don't look like your great quarterbacks of old, aside from Mahomes and now Josh Allen this year. I think the quarterback position has been bad, and I think that's where a lot of these guys kind of get overrated.
That's for 2 reasons, and that's A, our generation has been spoiled by quarterback play.
Yes.
We grew up with Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger.
And NIL.
Right? So many stuff.
Not so much NIL.
Well, I think
I don't
these
think it's
guys.
the NIL.
Well, no,
I think it's the style of the college play. We talked about
Well,
it a couple weeks ago.
And exactly, and I think NIL leads to that because you have so many guys that are there on 1 years or guys coming in just to be there for 1 year and leave. You have to
I
dumb
don't
down
think
the
that's-
offense.
I think
and
these college coaches are hired to be fired, just like NFL coaches are, and they've got to deliver. And it's no longer about developing. It's no longer about bringing in a kid at 18 years old and developing. It is what you just said. It is bringing a kid in for a
Different
year
game.
to win right now. It's dumbing down the offense,
Yeah.
so that the
can't be
quarterback can run
complicated.
it. Yeah,
And
they
then you
can't-
get to the NFL, and it's a completely different style of
Right.
football. You know, they're not taking any passes under center or any snaps under center in college. It's all shotgun.
Shotgun.
It's all catch and release. It's all rolling out, letting stuff develop downfield, and just kind of chucking it 50 yards and seeing what happens. I mean, it's all just gun. They're gunslingers, or try to be at least, and then they run these mobile offenses, and it just doesn't necessarily translate to the NFL. I mean, some of these guys have, but a majority of them just don't.
Now, then you get to the next level and you're playing grown ass men. And next thing you know, you're under center looking Ray Lewis in the eye, waiting to eat your lunch.
And that's the reason Jaden Daniels looks the best out of this class. He started, 5 years in college? I mean, it was at Arizona State and then LSU. So, guys that have gotten the time to develop in college look the best. And that's why he's looked as good as he has. These guys that are coming out after 1 year of starting, CJ Stroud is an absolute anomaly. They just don't look good.
We got robbed of JJ McCarthy, right? This was a guy that was probably going to start in Minnesota. I
he looked good in preseason too.
I don't think he was going to be the best. I believe Jaden Daniels was going to be the best. I really liked him in college.
I still think it's Drake May.
You know what the difference is though for
It could be
JJ,
Drake
for
May,
his
too.
sake at least? JJ played for an NFL coach. So
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
and
I
then
could be
ran-
wrong about this, but
ran
I'm inclined to
basically an
believe
NFL
that
offense.
Harbaugh
Yeah.
made him
Yeah.
NFL ready.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely, and
More so than anyone thought too, especially since that offense was basically catered
He
towards him not fucking up.
he ran an NFL offense. The only thing I would say that I ever said to Michigan fans when it came to JJ was like, it's really hard for me to judge him when you come out in the second half of Penn State and you don't throw a single ball.
Yeah, you're running the ball
And they didn't have
40
to.
times a game.
And I listen, I'd love to run an offense like that where I don't have to put the ball in the air. The more I could pound the rock, the better. But there were some of these games where he left with 15, 16 pass attempts. That's not really
And it's
whatever
not his
happens
fault.
in the NFL.
It's just the offense that was run.
Right. No, it's not his fault. And that's the thing. It's not his fault. I'm not blaming him.
No,
That was my only criticism of him, of I don't really know what he's really capable of because, and listen, when they called on him, I mean, last year, how Michigan won the national championship, it's every time they called on JJ, he hit. He hit, no matter what it was, but they didn't call on him much. That offense was run through that O-line and play Corum most of the time. And I forgot who the other running back was there. But anyways, do we before we get into the Monday night, do we have anything else?
I got one hot tip for the people at home listening. And do what you will with it. Patriots to cover.
Oh.
10.5.
10.5. They're playing the Niners. A lot of points against a hurt Niners team that hasn't looked too
Tebow's
great.
back.
That team.
Is Drake May playing quarterback today?
No, I don't think so.
No, they have Jacoby Brissett out there to take a fucking beating. He's gonna play.
I think that Drake May thing was they were just fucking around. You know what? Screw it. Why not?
Yeah, the whole reason Jacoby Brissett is playing is because that offensive line is terrible, and they need someone to take a beating until they can hopefully settle in and let Jake May take over and not get absolutely pummeled, back there, not lose any type of confidence he's built up, and God forbid, definitely not get injured.
He got hit a couple times on Thursday. Let me tell you something. They got
Who?
right through
Brissett?
Drake May.
Oh, Drake May. Okay.
Yeah, they got right through that for that one drive. They were getting right through. So,
Yeah, that offensive line is terrible. A team that was predicated on building a great offensive line for years when Belichick was there. It does not look anything like it used to. And I don't know, 10.5 is a lot of points. But this is a bad Patriots team. I mean, you have the 49ers are beat up, but you have Brandon Ayuk, who is still there. He's still healthy. Is Kittle back this week? I know Debo is.
I didn't know Kittle went down. Kittle got hurt?
Yeah, he missed last week.
I didn't know that.
I think it was they thought he was going to play. Jordan Mason looks good.
Jordan Mason looks real good.
The defense Is George Kittle ready to return? So George
Yeah,
Kittle's
I don't have
playing,
George Kittle
Debo's
in the
playing.
report.
What about Trent Williams? Trent Williams is questionable as of yesterday, so we'll see. I mean, look, I think if the team is as beat up as you say, if guys are out there as decoys like a Debo Samuel, if guys are not end up coming down to game time decision and don't play, yeah, maybe the Patriots cover. But if you got Trent Williams in there, you got Debo in there, I see no reason to put any money on the Patriots.
Also, real quick, while on the subject of young NFL players who it might be over for them, I've heard some whispers about it might be curtains for old CMC.
Really?
I've heard.
What,
I've heard.
Done
I've heard,
playing football?
Yeah.
Where have you heard that?
Oh,
Well, he
somewhere.
definitely has some tears in his Achilles. I mean,
I got some connections on the European medical circuit that you don't need to know about.
Yeah.
Dr. Fritz and Witz over there in Germany are giving me the scoop. Now, they talked about it on Part of My Take, and I could see it. I mean, think about it. He's a very
Shocked.
I wouldn't be.
I'd be
I
shocked.
wouldn't be, man. It came out of nowhere. Think about it. It was kind of just,
Who is saying it though? Anyone reputable?
It's probably these Reddit doctors. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea where it came from, but I could definitely see it. I see this being a lot more true than Joe Burrow nerve damage type deal. Just because I don't know. I have a grudge against CMC for what he did to me this year, but that's neither here nor there.
Fuck CMC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it's something I'll look into. Tomorrow's games definitely boring. ESPN has 7:15.
They're 1-1.
Dolphins.
I think Lions Seahawks is going to.
Well,
be
yeah,
a
Lions
solid
Seahawks
game.
is going to be a good game. Yeah.
One more thing I did
that
want to bring up before we go into this thing, just quick. If you guys are gamblers, like all three of us are, look at Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce in his last, I think, 7 or 8 games against the Chargers has less than 90 yards once and has 5 or more catches in all of those games. So look at him to get yards, look at him to get catches, look at him then to use him. Especially with Derwin James out and suspended from the Chargers, they're going to target Kelce over the middle of the field and get him going.
Fuck him. Look at him to get on stage and sing, I'm feeling 22. Fuck Travis Kelce, dude. Travis Kelce spent the offseason partying with his hot little girlfriend, Taylor Swift, doing whatever they were doing up in Europe, on the Eras Tour. I don't blame him. But when you're an elite NFL tight end, you have to work out. You have to be in shape to come in and be ready to go. You have to stay at the top of your game, or else guys like Sam Laporta, despite him having a slow start to the season, and guys like Isaiah Likely are going to come and they're going to take your mantle as the elite tight end of the league. He literally, I mean, again, this is just reports. This is what I'm reading. This is what I'm hearing. He came in to camp out of shape. He's playing into game shape as we're going along. And maybe this is the week that he breaks out. But he's just been such a bag of shit. And we saw it last year too. Another guy that I wasted high fantasy value on early and I learned better this year. I didn't pick him up despite him being on the board in the 3rd round. Didn't touch him. But he's such a fucking I hate him. I hate him so much. And it's not even Taylor's I don't know. I just hate what the circus around him has become.
Should have retired
because he should. And why would he though? Because they're going to win.
Should have retired.
He should. Yeah, but there's no reason for him to retire because they're going to win another Super Bowl, if not 2. You can't look me in the eye and say the Chiefs aren't the front runners this year again, which sucks.
I think I would take the Bills over them at this point in time.
I would love to see that.
This second, I like the Bills. Josh Allen looks like he's figured something out. I think Joe Brady's the offensive coordinator there in Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
I think he has finally figured out a way to help Josh Allen not turn over the ball so much, and that's utilizing a running game because they haven't had a running back in Buffalo that they've enjoyed to use and they've actually been like confident relying on since Josh Allen's been there. And to be able to not have to sit back and wait for Josh Allen to throw the ball deep and just cherry pick that essentially is a godsend for him because now you have to be worried about James Cook, getting the ball, especially on these play actions. I mean, you get the defense to bound a play action pass. I mean, you're going to have someone open downfield, and Josh Allen has more than enough arm talent to get it there. So
it's crazy.
It's a scary team.
It's crazy how you take Stephon Diggs out of that equation, and it gets
look better.
That's
Well, because
that's
the
crazy.
attitude was bad. Because I know we
Mhm.
said earlier about how
Locker room
alphas do.
cancer.
If you're okay with someone being a prima donna and looking all pissy and shit, it's an alpha receiver. But Stephon Diggs was not an alpha receiver anymore. Yes, he was the alpha in that offense, quote unquote, but he wasn't good enough to be that anymore. And Josh Allen needed to look other ways. You know, he was trying to force feed him the ball sometimes, and that got him into sticky situations, throwing a ton of picks, and just putting the team into a bad situation. Now you have someone else. You have him off the team, and he's able to spread the ball around a ton more. And you just have a better product here with the Buffalo Bills.
Are we good to move on to
Yeah.
Monday night?
Yeah, just one
So-
quick thing.
Yeah.
The tides have turned, and we are seeing the new guard coming in, and Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews are done. That's it.
Agreed. Trey McBride's
Okay.
the best tight end in the league.
Tomorrow's games: Titans at Dolphins. I think that's
Don't
a
watch
nothing
it.
burger. If you want to bet on anything, maybe the Titans getting their first win, but I still don't even like that.
What's the line?
My
Plus 2.5.
yeah,
Titans are
plus-
plus 2.5.
yeah.
Yeah, plus 122 Titans money line. I think you take the positive money there. You take the
Hammer.
plus money.
Hammer.
The exciting game, I'm sure Pass is thrilled that he has to stay up late on a Monday night to watch his Lions play the Seahawks at home, but that should be a good game. You have a pretty high over-under at 46.5. And you got a tight margin there. It's only minus 3.5 going in favor of the Lions. So it's going to be a tight game there in Detroit.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth from the Score app. I have to just stay on the FanDuel. Yeah, it's minus 3.5. Draco's going nuts upstairs. That's wonderful timing.
He's pissed about the game being tomorrow night.
He's furious about it.
Put him on the show. Let's get his thoughts. Yeah, I agree, Draco. Good job.
Do you hear him upstairs?
Yeah.
Right now? Let me go see why he's freaking out. You guys carry the show for a minute here.
What I like about this game is I have no real logical reasoning behind it, but I don't love the Seahawks. I think they had an absolute amazing matchup last week against the Dolphins. And who's their coach? Mike McDonald, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't
I
even
think
know.
it's Mike McDonald. And if anyone was watching that game, it had you pulling your hair out. They kept throwing the ball and throwing the ball and throwing the ball. I mean, you have a Dolphins team that you held to 3 points, and you continued to throw the ball instead of running the ball with Zach Charbonnet. It just was a poorly coached game, and that should have been a game. While they did cover and they beat the Dolphins handedly, there should have been that game should have been won by 20 more points. I mean, the Dolphins are terrible, and the Seahawks went out there and just didn't look amazing. They beat them, but they didn't look great. Now they're coming to Detroit. You're going against one of the toughest places to play in the NFL, in my opinion, one of the best fan bases. And to go into that dome where Jared Goff is fucking amazing, you're going to come in, you're going to get routed.
But that's the thing, though. So you said it before with the quarterback play, how there's echelons to it, and there's elite, pretty good, and shit.
No.
I think the Seattle Seahawks are kings of the pretty good football teams. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're elite. I don't think they might make the playoffs. You know, that they do play in a tough division. Yeah. Granted, there are a little bit of injuries now, and the Kings, you know, Rams are banged up, Niners are banged up, so it could be theirs for the taking. But I do not think they're quite on the elite level. And, you know, also, like, if you look at the ex-Jets quarterbacks here, I'm happy for Sam. I want to see Sam succeed. Geno Smith was a piece of shit when he was in New York, and I hope Dagata is still in here because they'll vouch for me. Geno Smith was such a piece of shit when he was in New York. He sucked. He we owed gambling money, whatever, all that BS, the circus that was surrounding that. It was just a bad time to be a Jets fan, and I'm happy that he had the season he had. That's great. He maybe should have won Comeback Player of the Year last year.
Probably.
2 years ago. I think this is
whatever
Seattle,
year.
right?
Whatever year was the year where he came out of the woodwork. Yeah.
He didn't win it?
No, he. I don't believe he did. Did he?
I don't think he did.
No, I don't know. But I'll look it up. You keep going.
But like, they have a good team. But it's like, if you look at their receiving core with Metcalf and Lockett, I feel like
JSN too. Can't forget him.
Yeah. He's in there too. But I feel like they're again pretty good. Not elite, not top 5, whatever, but like serviceable enough to get the job done. And then you have Kenneth Walker running the ball who can never stay healthy. And I feel like they're always going to be
back this week.
Is he? But again, you got to be on the lookout for injuries with that guy because he's made of glass bones.
They already said he's gonna be not get a full slate of touches. He's gonna be limited. So, and the thing is it doesn't even matter. The Lions are gonna be able to shut down the run.
The Lions are dealing with some injuries.
They got a great front seven, and
we haven't. So, I'm ultimately obviously going to take the Lions here, but
yeah, hands down.
They haven't beaten the Seahawks, I think, in over 10 years.
Right. That's like that little rivalry game, right?
Yeah.
They had that one like shootout game last year or the year before. Yeah.
Yes. They haven't beaten the Seahawks, I want to say, since 2012. They're missing their Pro Bowl center in Frank Ragnow. He's not going to play. I know Laporta's going to play.
He is going to play.
Yep. Starting
playing.
linebacker Derek Barnes is going to be out. Ife Melifonwu was just put on IR. Davenport we lost last week. Rakestraw I don't think is going to play. It's just questionable, but I think he's out for the game. The Lions are dealing with a lot of injuries. From what I've seen, I believe the Seahawks are dealing with quite a few injuries as well. I think two of their starting tackles or one of their starting tackles is out. And then I think the guy that came in to back him up is now out. So they've got some offensive line injuries. If they could keep DK out of the end zone, they've certainly got a chance. I think we can outrush them. In fact, I know we can outrush them. It's a matter of can this Lions offense be consistent and get going. We've seen them play, a really good fourth quarter against LA on Sunday night, week 1. We've seen them play a really good first half last week against Arizona. They can't play 60 minutes of good offensive football. On the flip side, though, they've statistically right now they've got a top tier defense. They've kept teams to under 20 points. They've turned the ball over a little bit, but nobody in the league has gotten to the quarterback as well as Aiden Hutchinson has in these first 3 weeks. He's leading the NFL in sacks. Now, a lot of that is fueled by a 4.5 sack game against the Buccaneers, but nonetheless, like they count. It's a regular season game, right? So,
sack is a sack.
A sack is a sack. Some of them are ball sacks, but they're sacks. And if you're the Lions here, you've just got to play. You've got to play a complete 60 minutes of offense. If this defense could just be a step above mediocre, and your line and the Lions offense can do what it's capable of doing, the Lions can win this game handedly. There's no excuse. It's Monday night. You're in your home stadium. You've got injuries, but so do they.
Seahawks had a lot in their front seven injured. Leonard Williams, two on their defensive line, and 2 linebackers already ruled out. Jerome Baker is questionable. I think this is a game where you see the Lions try to hammer the rock and really just run on that defense and really control the clock. Don't let Geno Smith throw the ball to those wide receivers because the game plan's going to they're not going to be able to run the ball on the Lions. They're going to try to throw the ball. They're going to try to attack that secondary, and that's going to be their game plan. That they've looked pretty decent passing the ball so far. So I think this is a game where the Lions try to control the clock and win it that way. And it's a very high over-under at 46.5. I think there's no reason to buy back any points. I think the under is an absolute lock in this game. I don't see any reason for that to come close to it. Because
especially on Monday night. If this were a 1:00 game, I'd say hammer the over.
No.
But a Monday night
primetime unders, you know us. We love primetime unders.
Oh yeah. Plus, you had the Seahawks, like I said while you were gone dealing with Draco. The Seahawks did not look good against a bad Dolphins team last week, and they didn't put up a ton of points. I think they put up 24 points, if I'm not mistaken. Which it's a decent bit of points, but against a Dolphins team where you should have beaten handedly, which they did, but they didn't look amazing doing it. I think it's a game where you could see the Seahawks getting just stymied on offense. They haven't
really. That's the only game that they've. The Dolphins game is the only game they ran away with against the Patriots in New England. They only beat them by 3. It was a tight game, and then the Broncos week 1, they beat them 26-20. So I don't think the Seahawks have really been tested. This is going to be their first test.
Yeah.
And once again, if the Lions offense, if Ben Johnson can dial up a consistent offense. And Jared Goff needs to execute. Jared Goff has been inconsistent this year. He's 3 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. He hasn't looked good. He got a contract extension. That was well deserved, right? Played his ass off, but in my opinion, and I think in Jared's opinion, he's got to be significantly better than this. I mean, there's no excuse last week to put up 0 points in the second half. 0 points. And they ran the ball heavy. It was a lot of punting. You know, I want to see Jared play consistent football. He doesn't have to blow the doors off this team. Ultimately, you got to win. But I think this is a game that the Lions should really be kind of looking, not, I hate to say this, but like almost looking at the spread and saying we should be covering by more than this. We should be beating the Seahawks by 7 points in our home stadium on Monday night. They're banged up. We're banged up.
Yeah. Not only that, they need a double. They need to have twice as much time of possession as the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks don't run the ball. They don't run it well, and you're a team that does. And you should be able to run all over this front seven with how many injuries they have there. And you should be able to just go on long drives, eating away at clock, and just not letting the Seahawks do anything against you. You know, just sitting back and just letting the clock tick away. You know, that should be their game plan on Monday night. Nothing fancy, just some hard-nosed, old-school football.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Do we have anything else on today and tomorrow?
I am good, and I am ready for some football.
As am I. The only thing we didn't get into Bills Ravens, but look for that to be an exciting game. That's going to be a good game. Fun game. Yeah, it really is. This is going to be Josh Allen. He's going for 4 straight games to start the season without throwing a pick. It's the first time he hit 3 games, so let's see if he can keep that streak going.
All right, boys. Well, great show. Let's have ourselves a Sunday. Yeah. Let's win some money. Let's go Jets. And tomorrow night, let's go Lions. We will see you all Thursday night.
And this afternoon, go Mets.
Go Mets.
Yeah, fucking disaster.
Something over there.
Bucks Falcons is Thursday night. So we'll see you, I guess, 7 o'clock Thursday to talk about that. Yep. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next